Hi, I'm Tuvia Pollack and I'm here in the ancient Synagogue of Magdala. Now there are a bunch of ancient synagogues in the Galilee, but this is the only one that is actually preserved from the time of Jesus. Even if you've been to Capernaum and there's an ancient synagogue there, that was actually built a few hundred years after Jesus was there. Probably on the site of the original one, but still, this is the only synagogue in the Galilee that was here at the time of Jesus. And we know that he went around and preached in many synagogues, so this is one of the few places in Israel that we can actually say with 99.99% certainty that Jesus has been standing right in this synagogue and been preaching. Now, something amazing that they found in this place is that little table that you see in the middle. Now, the original table they put in a museum, so this is a replica. But something amazing that you can see there is that there is actually an engraving of the menorah, which means that the original person, the one who made this menorah, saw the real one. He must have seen the real one in the temple in Jerusalem. And that's amazing. Now, in my first book that I've been working on off and on since 2015, and I hope it will eventually be available for sale in a couple of years. You can read the first drafts of it if you support me on Patreon. But in that book, The Secret Scroll of Magdala, it starts right here. If you look over there, you can see that there's a wall, kind of a wall built with scrap parts of different things. So when the Romans came in 66, 67 AD, Josephus came here and he tried to prepare the city for the siege and for the attacks that he knew would come from the Romans. And one of the things he did was that they started to take apart the synagogue and other parts of the city and build that wall. And they started to build this wall in a way that would keep the synagogue outside of the walled city. Why did they do that? Probably they were worried that if the synagogue was inside the city, the Romans would destroy it. We don't really know. But you can imagine the people taking apart their beloved synagogue, starting to build this wall and trying to make sure to remember exactly where each and every stone was in order to be able to rebuild it. They never got the chance to rebuild it. The Romans came, they destroyed the city, and everyone who lived here were either killed, taken into captivity, and there's some few that were able to escape, but we don't really know. The majority of the people who lived in the city were fishermen. And the plan they had to escape if the Romans would attack was to go into the boats and flee out to the lake. But the Romans seemed to have known that that was their plan because they had their own boats, they followed after, and they killed each and every one of them. Josephus writes that the entire Sea of Galilee was red with blood, probably an exaggeration, but very possibly at least the part of the lake that was closest. Because the wall that they built was not enough to protect against the Romans. It was just a half circle around the lake, and the Romans, from complete surprise, came from the sides and poured into the city. Now, this is the first scene in the first chapter of my first book. My main characters are people who live in the city, and just before the Romans arrive, they have a very important scroll that they need to hide so that the Romans won't get it. What that scroll is, and what they're hiding, and how they survive everything, that you will have to wait a couple of years until my book is out, or support me on Patreon and start reading the first draft. What exactly that scroll is, though, I'm sorry, it's taking a while. I haven't gotten there yet in the book, but you will find out eventually. This is Tuvia Pollack from Magdala in the Galilee.